go back to my original question page. So if I wrote down the
We're now back in order from being recessed earlier, and it's 7:20 p.m. At this time, I'll turn it over to Commissioner Cox.
Thank you. I just had a few questions about the budget. I wanted to clarify before we move forward with some more meetings with some more departments. So, Amber, let's explain to me from the budget message now. One thing is the tax increase that is asked for in the budget is a total of 8 cents or 6 cents plus 2 cents fire tax, or
Yes,
is that right?
yes, that's correct. 6 cents for regular ad valorem, and then 2 cent fire tax for Wanacove, King, and Service District.
And so right now, are we at 66 cents or 62 cents? Because some plus the 4 cent school.
Plus
Yeah.
the 4 cent, yes.
So I don't know how and when all that got divided out separately, but because I've heard it said that the tax rate 66 cents. So, and that's with the 4 cent tax of the school tax thing,
That's what it is, yeah.
right? 66.
Let's say,
So 66 plus the 8 that she's.
no, plus 8 already, that's the fire tax we currently have.
Yeah, the fire tax is separate. So
Separate.
it's just this plus the 6 cents.
So the ad valorem is 66 plus your
6.
recommendation of 4 more cents.
6 cents.
You
Six-
had, wait a
6
minute,
more cents.
you had on
That's
the,
why I'm
you had
asking. I
on the
was
book,
getting-
62
Plus
going
the
to 68,
62 going to 68 plus the 4
plus the
cent.
2 cent if
Before
we
that-
approve the fire tax, correct? 62 to 68 ad valorem,
Yes. And then,
and the 2 cent fire tax.
yes, and the 4 cent fund. Yes.
Yeah, but 4
Tax
cent, yeah, 4
increase.
cent
Yes.
fund is
Yeah. I just don't
fine.
want to forget that because that is ad valorem as well.
4 cent
But it's-
fund was changed when,
I
in
just wish we would
2018?
just keep it all together. It's so
think so.
confusing to me to divide that out, saying it's a school tax. And it's confusing to the taxpayers too. Because some people have not noticed it on their tax bill, and all of a sudden they notice it and they're like, why am I paying? And I'm like, you've always funded schools in your taxes. It's always been paid out of ad valorem. It's just when we built the Forsyth Tech building and when we built the, I guess, Poplar Springs, is that when we did the 4 cent tax? The 4 cent
We did,
fund?
we had to do the 4 cent tax to fund all those projects, yeah.
We did.
Right.
And then for years after that, we didn't break out the school. Jake did that.
Yeah,
And I don't see any need for it either. I mean,
Right,
what we
right.
used to do is we just had a narrative
Right.
that said in the county manager's message that,
right.
that this percentage went to the school and this
Right.
percentage went to the
Like a pie
county.
chart, and it showed it and stuff.
It didn't name it separately,
And that's what's confusing to people,
yeah.
you know. So I would be in favor of just going back to how it used to be, saying if it's 62 cents plus the 4, which is 66, just say it's 66 instead of saying 62 plus this plus this. It's just, I don't know. But that's a tax department thing, I guess. We could talk to them about if they want to change it and how it's worded in the bid. It wouldn't change the tax at
Yeah,
all.
but I'm assuming it was the Board of Commissioners that directed that, right?
It was brought up by our county manager and it came to the commissioners, which was approved.
Right, so
But it's been a long time ago.
So it's when Jake Oakley was county
we
manager.
can change it.
Sure, it can be changed, just like it was changed then.
Yeah.
It can be changed back.
It's just confusing to people because all of a sudden they think they're funding something special where they've been funding it all along. School, all the time we've had, even since we built West Stokes, we've been having money that's paid out of ad valorem taxes to pay off school debt.
You gotta remember that we had the early college come in, then we had Poplar Spring, we had 3 things. We had
Nancy Reynolds.
Nancy Reynolds rebuilt in 2008 or 9. And then you had Poplar Springs, brand new school in King, put up. That was in 2011. And you had the addition at Southeastern that sits right on the road. It opened the same day Poplar Springs opened. The beginning, first day of school, 2011.
The way it was actually worded was the 62 cents, if you went back to what you're talking about, what we had in the budget message, out of that 62 cent, a certain percentage went to school, a certain percent went to county, and then the 4 cent was on top of that, and it all went to the schools. Or the Forsyth Tech, but not all the public schools. It was all those projects, and
school
Forsyth
debt,
Tech was included in that too.
yeah.
It was like an education to pay
Oh,
for
and I
those
think that it was
facilities.
probably done that way maybe to, so people would understand that, but I still think it's confusing.
You gotta remember too, the schools get sales tax 41 and 42, isn't that correct, Lisa? 41 and 42?
I just wanted to be sure I have my numbers right with all of this adding up.
41 and 42 is automatic. They get that automatically. That's state statute.
And what Ernest used to want to say is that 60, you get the 66 you got, and then he says you got to add the fire tax to that, so the real tax rate's 74.
If you add the 66 and that, yeah, it'd be 74.
Because it's like a property tax too, the fire tax is.
Yeah,
So we're really paying 74 cents to get everything. Now we want to put 6 on top of that.
that's what I thought, but I thought maybe I'm wrong, because that's a lot. I'm just saying. And the next
Let's
question
go to
I had.
82 cents, go to 82 cents.
The other question I had was, I think what you were asking about in the budget message, what it talked about, because last year's budget was 166,000, so that's what I thought. But then in the budget message, it said it was 70 something. And you said you explained that in the opening, but I guess
Yeah,
I'm
and
gonna
I-
go back and
and
just
that's-
clarify.
Yeah, and what I put in the budget summary is the amount from last year, the 70.8 million. That's including current expense for schools. Because see how we funded it last year, and for the past several years, it was funded by, they had their own, kind of like the fire tax or something. They had their own separate tax fund it went into. So it went into its own fund, its own account. Because we had given them 31 cent of the tax rate, and we had 31 cents. So 31 cent went directly into their bucket, so to speak, and 31 cent went into our bucket, so to speak. But the way I recommended it this year is that it all come to the county, and then we decide, a percentage or an amount to give them
Okay.
based off of the per pupil funding, and then we do like a transfer, which is what's been done in the past before we changed it to 31 cent and 31 cent. So that way, but it all comes to the county in one bucket, and that's why, basically, to make it comparable, I had to add in the current expense from the schools, because that 50 million from last year, it didn't include that total wasn't including that tax from the
Didn't include the school's
current expense. Yes.
current expense.
Yes.
So it was 54.9 million plus the school's current expense, which would bring it to 70,897,780.
It should. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Back that out of it, you get her 2.3%
You should.
increase.
Yes. Yes. I mean, because we had to do that math again because it. I mean, I know that like on the final numbers we can try to work with to change it, but just the way the accounts are set up, it didn't. It looks like it's a big increase, but the schools last time was separate, like I said, so it wasn't in the general
On it
fund.
together. Okay.
Yeah, so,
Well, that explains that. That's what I thought too, but I wanted to
Yeah.
be sure I was right on that. Also, can tomorrow, if you have time before we have our budget meeting, maybe we could do a cheat sheet about how many new positions total is in this budget and where they are. If that's good, if
Yeah.
that helps us see.
Yeah, used to, I mean, before you guys didn't do it this year, we had equipment sheet and a personnel sheet.
Yeah.
And that was all manually done, so.
Gotcha.
I will do that.
Well, you didn't have to do that
I
for
did
your,
think about it. I just didn't get there,
for
but
your
I will
budget
have it
message,
tomorrow.
but it will help us, I
Yes,
think, moving
yeah.
forward to have it, so we don't have to search out all those new things. I think that's about all I had really. We went back through, just some of those, where were the additional positions? And maybe if you could put on there again on the cheat sheet, like you had last year, the history of the allotted fund balance from other budgets, just so we have that. What
Okay,
we've,
the fund balance.
yeah, I think it's on last year's, it
Yeah,
shouldn't be hard
it
to
was. Yeah, it shouldn't be bad.
find that, just so we have that for comparison.
One other little thing, Amber, that it says in your budget message, I think, that, all those DSS positions, which are really coming on strong, bunches of them, with Medicaid expansion stuff, the state's giving us money to cover those, I think it says.
Portion of them.
But I don't really want to understand how much they're covering, plus what we may have to cover for those added positions, and then are they gonna keep covering it, or are we gonna get stuck with all of it next year?
The state does.
75-25 you put in the budget thing.
That is correct, but this year,
75 from the state and 25 from the county.
that's correct. But this year specifically, and last year, the state gave us a portion of money to help us adjust to Medicaid expansion, which will cover the county portion of that this year
Yeah,
as
and
well.
that's my point, is they gonna keep doing that or not?
Not the county portion.
Yeah, I mean, there's not, the state hasn't said. I mean, I think it,
Well, they're probably not going to,
I
they're gonna
see.
stick it to us, that's what they're gonna do,
right.
you know? So, we gotta factor that in when you're approving that many new positions.
That's all I had additional. I just wanted some clarification.
Yeah. Brandon, do you have,
Yeah, I have some more things if you guys have time. While I'm here.
could we have a consensus for another 10 or 15 minutes?
For you, yes.
Yeah,
All right, come on.
good a time as any. If not, we'll do it.
Yeah.
We'll have to add it on somewhere.
I said no, but I'm outvoted.
So we talked about the schedule, and I just want to go on the record so everybody in the community knows, you guys know, daily we're shutting down the 6th ambulance. So if you start getting calls and stuff, it is happening because of staffing. I just want to make sure everybody knows that, and we're trying our best to staff it every day with part-time or people working over. And there's going to be more of that coming, especially with vacations, et cetera. Just some other things. The budget overall looked pretty good. One other big item that's costly that was put in was the lease of the Stryker's power load stretchers we currently use. Been going for that for 2 years now. It was a lot cheaper 2 years ago compared to what it is now. But we have 7 stretchers that's going out of date. This year it need to be replaced, and for 7 of them it's about $601,000 to buy them. And they're good for average 7 years. And heart monitors we have 5 going out of date. Next year it need to be replaced. They're currently about $40,000. And so I've got with the rep, and he did a lease agreement. It's called ALS 360. Wilkes County's doing it, Yadkin and Surrey. What it is, you lease the product for 10 years, and you have a set rate. There's no inflation. It includes all the service, top tier service, batteries, everything. And they have a new heart monitor that's just come out this past May, and the cost of it goes to about $65,000. Well, the stretchers, we could replace all 11 stretchers in all of our ambulances and replace all of our heart monitors and actually add 2 heart monitors. So that would actually give me a heart monitor in my vehicle. Currently I just have an AED. We could lease all of that, and the cost of it is about $415,000 a year for the next 10 years. That's reoccurring. That includes everything, service. The good part about it is at year 5 or new technology comes out, they're going to bring all new equipment in and swap it out. We get all brand new equipment. So the price we're locked in at right now includes the heart monitors like we're using now, the LifePak 15. And then we'll get brand, if we went with that, we would get brand new ones. There's the new monitor, we could move to it in 2 to 3 years. They would come in and trade them out, but we're locked in at the LifePak 15 price. So I know 2 years ago we started out as $275,000 a year, now it's up to $415,000. And to me, with this equipment, the medical equipment, it's very pricey. Man, I know Rick knows, he's been here when we bought stretchers over the years when we first went to power load. I don't knock on wood. Our back injuries have really been since we went to power stretchers. So I would like that to be considered. I know it costs money.
Brandon, can you give me, I hate to ask again, but I've been put on your stretchers twice with 2 heart attacks, so can you go back over the the stretchers, heart monitors, the whole thing, and the total amount of money. Can you give me all that?
So the total amount, real money, I guess you would say, is about $396,000 a year, because under miscellaneous contractual services, we pay about $30,000 a year to service this equipment. So that would come out because this is covered. So I know me and Amber
So all the
pointed out
maintenance covered in the lease.
everything, and you move up to a top tier service where they always get to us quick now and come fix our stuff. Whenever we have something break, but you're looking at, you want the price.
Yes,
So if you bought the 7 stretchers,
right.
it's about $601,000 if you buy them outright, and we should put that in the budget to finance.
I saw that.
Yeah. But it's just a peace of mind, and it sets it up for the next DMS director, for you guys. I know that's a lot of money every year, but it's equipment you gotta have. And just looking at what Stryker had broke down, if we did, the stretchers this year, next year if we replace the heart monitors, they advise replacing all the heart monitors, so you don't have some heart monitors on this truck that's different. We've done that in the past. It was a disaster. They all need to be the same, just my opinion. But if you done that next year, it'd be $977,000 to replace them. Then we would skip a year, but then the next year we'd replace the other 4 stretchers at $416,000. And this is estimating a 4.5% price increase each year, and they're pretty known to that. Then you're gonna skip 4 years here, and then you're gonna be back at 2032. You're gonna replace them 7 stretchers again for $907,000, and then in 2033, you'd replace the heart monitors for $1.4 million. So basically, over a 10-year period, you're only saving $1 million over the 10 years, because you're gonna be paying $415 each year for the lease. So it's just something to consider. My personal opinion, I think that's the best. So far, everyone likes it that's doing it. Your equipment's guaranteed, and if new technology comes out year 8, they're gonna bring it in and swap it out. By year 5, you're guaranteed to get all new equipment. And that's really the other big item I just wanted to talk about that was in our budget. If there's any way you guys could consider that.
Did I see in the budget also that we've got 3 ambulances built in
Yes.
to come? 3,
Yeah, you have one ambulance that was budget before this one we're
the
in.
223 year.
Yeah, it's supposed to go online June or July. Then the one from this budget we're currently in is supposed to go online. They said December or January of this year, along with the other one we did a letter of intent on in December of 22. Yeah, they're supposed to be being built this coming December, no later than January is what they told me.
So we should have that one no later than December.
Yeah,
January.
it should be here by September, August, September. I believe that's really the only other.
So if the difference between the lease and the purchase, that's, you said 7 stretchers, 601,000, is that correct? And that's if we bought them,
Yeah, that's buying them, us financing.
buy them straight out,
Right.
finance.
And that's in the budget.
That's in the budget
Right.
currently.
Might I point out that Novant did say they were gonna help us with the EMS coming
Understand?
up, so
Yes.
I'm just gonna throw that back out there.
We'll let them put their name on the stretchers.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I'll write the name on there if you want to.
Really,
But you
the
were
only,
saying 7 stretchers, 601,000.
that's full service on it. That's everything. That's turnkey service for 7 years, battery replacement. Batteries are $900 each.
No brainer.
Well, Mr. Chairman, may I make a comment?
Yes.
I have, ever since the budget was given to me last Tuesday, I've been out all over the county, north, south, and west, talking to people. they read this first page, 2.3% increase. They're seeing where that to make the budget balance is going to take $4,192,281 from our general fund. They first saw this 68 cents from 62, but as Commissioner Morris has stated, if we do the 6 cent ad valorem and 2 cent fire tax, we're really talking about, and Commissioner Morris, tell me if I'm wrong, 82. That's what we're really talking about. All that we got already plus what we're bringing in, 82 cents. I think that needs to be changed on the website because people are,
Well, I will say,
they are mixed up on this.
well, I will say that the fire tax is separated because it's specifically for fire services and the service district taxes. It doesn't, I mean, even the one at Cove and King, it doesn't impact the citizens living in the town and city limits.
Right.
So again, it's always separated so that way because it doesn't apply
So
to everybody.
how can you clarify that then?
It has to stay separated because it is for different
What
purposes.
clarification?
The bottom line is that's how much tax you're
That's it.
paying.
Yeah,
I mean, we could separate it out, maybe by jurisdiction. I mean, if you live in the town limits of Walnut Cove, this is it. And if you live in the city of King, it's this. I mean, because it's going to be different depending on where you live.
you might need to put that in there.
We certainly can.
Because if somebody on one part of the county is going to have to pay certain thing and somebody on the other part of the county is paying something different, that's not going to go over well.
Well,
They've
the people
always
in
done it though.
The people in the city
They
limits
have,
pay
but
city
now we're
tax.
talking about adding 8 more cents, 6 cents, and 2 more. We haven't done that.
Well, we hadn't had a big tax increase in a long time, that's true.
That's what I'm talking about.
People study civics a little bit, they'll understand.
Civics isn't even hardly taught anymore.
I mean, I think, I get what you're saying. I guess we need to figure out, what the message is, but no one likes paying more taxes than you have to. But at the same time, if we want to operate an efficient government and attract quality employees, retain quality employees, and have services, we're attracting more and more people into our county. They may not be coming to the north side so much in vast numbers, but they're coming to the west side in vast numbers, and they're gonna expect services.
And I had one thing more, Mr. Chairman, just to put a little more sourness in the cup. We have been very careful, but we have not mentioned one time today that we are considering putting on the ballot a 1/4 cent sales tax and liquor by the drink for the county. That is under consideration. That's not been mentioned.
No, not yet.
And when somebody else, it basically already 82, and then they say, and you want to put a 1/4 cent sales tax on the ballot too? No.
Well,
I've been out.
Yeah, I know. And I appreciate.
People are upset.
I
They're upset.
I know, and I probably got just as many people that are telling me that they want service. They're tired of not being, being worried about when they call the sheriff's office of making sure that a deputy is coming within the hour.
I understand that.
And this.
I'm not trying to.
I know. And I appreciate, and I know it's going to be a hard sell. We should have increased some of the tax, at least the fire tax should have been increased, in my opinion, should have been increased last budget year. But what happens all the time is that we keep putting it off, we keep putting it off, and we keep putting it off and putting it off. And I understand no one, if you're a politician, you don't run on raising taxes. But gosh darn it, throw me out of office. But if I get the tax increase done, at least, we're back on the right track again with public safety and solid way, all the way up and down the board. I know it's tough, and we need to iron some things out, but nothing's free. And a lot of the stuff is mandates that come down from the state, and then mandates that come down from the federal government. and look at the inflation, just like, you know, it's just all the costs are going up.
Look at the inflation.
I know.
I came by a BP station day in King. $4 and something a cent for a Supreme. 3 something, and when Trump left office, it was $1.87.
I agree.
Go to the grocery store. I went to Food Line in King yesterday. I could carry it out in 2 bags, and it was almost $100. People are still hurting. I want you to know that.
I know, I do
They're
know.
telling me that.
I know.
Okay.
I know.
Just want
I
you-
agree. So are employees. And if we want to keep employees, then we're going to have to.
You're right. They are hurting. And
Delicate subject. I mean, you can raise taxes enough that people will not pay them. I mean, we had never got to that point
Yeah.
yet, but
Yeah.
you reach a point where they can't pay them. But I've been preaching to get the tax rate up for years, trying to gradually get it up there and keep up with things.
Just, we're at the
You're preaching
point.
to the choir.
Yeah, we're at the point where we got to do something. I mean, it's all about a vote. So if we, if we can't do the right thing for this county, shame on
I'm
us.
not going to argue.
Oh, I know. I know.
Question for Brandon.
Yeah, yeah.
Brandon, what's the criteria for all of a sudden the equipment has to be replaced?
This
Like, are all the
striker-
stretchers not working anymore, all those high dollar stretchers that
No, they
at
were.
7 years,
That's
or
the
they half
service
working,
life.
or,
That's the service life recommended by the manufacturer, needs to be replaced.
yeah,
The
so
American Heart Association recommends every 5 years on the heart monitors.
what happens if you
We
went
go
10
to-
years?
We go to 7.
What
As
happens if you
long
went
as
10?
they still service them, we can keep using them.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, like the LifePak 12s, you might have been here, they quit servicing them altogether. No more parts, so everybody had to.
Are we at that point with both the stretchers and all these monitors that they're gonna stop servicing them now?
Stretchers, I
Well,
would say
and
the
all-
stretchers probably got another 2 to 3 years left on the 17 models.
Yeah,
But then we have some that's 19 models that was replaced whenever we added the Unit 6 in Wanaco. So they got a little longer left on their expected life expectancy. Yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of repairs on the older ones here in the last 6 months. But it's been under the service contract we carry.
yeah.
But,
I just wonder, we gotta make hard decisions about how quick we're gonna do
Right.
this stuff, and
and the only thing we don't have right
what
now
the
is
future
battery
cost will
service.
be and all that, but
Right, I mean, it's expensive.
But we have to be careful just because, it's not necessarily manufactured, just because the state says you ought to do something, don't mean we have to do it.
Right.
They'll say you ought to have like one supervisor for every 2 people or whatever. And, we don't do that. We have to factor some judgment into these kind of decisions too,
Right.
so.
Just don't
I
want to
just wondered if the equipment was really like falling off the table at this point because the manufacturer said it's time to switch it.
we're just preventing.
They have an incentive for
We're
switching
just
it.
preventing from getting to that. Forsyth County just had 36 heart monitors. That version run out no more. They had to buy 36 at one time. So we don't want to get, we got to do it now or, we're really in bad shape.
I see what you're saying about having the same things on each truck, because I guess depending on who's,
Right.
on each truck part-time filling in or something, and they're used to one certain kind, and now you got this other kind that they
We had
don't
that
know.
before whenever we switched.
I think we ought to always keep the same equipment on all the
Yeah, I
trucks.
see what you're saying.
I definitely think that.
Yeah,
Well, thank you.
thank you.
You are the tax. I definitely think.
I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Okay. All right. Any further discussion? All right. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Motion carries. We're adjourned.